Hello and welcome to the show today. My guest is a talented music maker. Let's go to a clip now to hear a bit of his work. Isn't that just brilliant? Ladies and gentlemen, Feryl, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Now, I always start with these interviews, right at the beginning. What got you into music?
Well, this specific type of music, chip tunes, I actually got into by playing a computer game that came out in 2003. It was made by one person over a period of 6 months called Seiklus, which is an Estonian word meaning adventure. It was this nice little simplistic sort of exploration platform game. And I came across that. It was made with a program called Game Maker. And so I enjoyed the game, and I was playing that about, 4 or 5 years ago or so. And one thing that struck me about it was the soundtrack. And the soundtrack I later discovered, because I started listening to it standalone because I liked it so much, was this genre of the style of music called chiptunes. And it was the guy, CLY5M, Closum, who made the game, put these chiptunes into the soundtrack, and he thought they worked well, and they were nice, and they were some like 90s, early 2000s module chiptunes. So I liked the style, and it was nice and retro and everything, and I was already a video game fan, so I kind of connected with it on that level too, I guess. And also the style of it, and working with limitations and stuff is good. And so I started listening to that soundtrack, and I eventually got into specific artists and started listening to it more, and then eventually I just decided to try and make it myself. So in 2008, I released it. I printed a terrible CD with some of my old, like, really bad music that I had first started on. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. And so then today I'm still making it, enjoying it, and trying to progress my style, and so yeah.
So with this genre of music, what's like for you the process of making it? I mean, how do you begin to plan how to track?
Well, let's see. Planning the releases, like the albums and the EPs that I do, oddly enough, sometimes I start like by pulling up Notepad and typing in ideas for song names. And that might sound kind of counterintuitive or something, trying to start out with the names with songs, but it can kind of give me sort of a perspective for where I want to go with the release. And so I may throw around some ideas for the titles. My composition process is literally pulling up Modplug Tracker, which is the program I use. It's free, by the way. It's a great program. And these days I make the 8-bit sounds and samples myself instead of, taking them from other people. And I import them into the program, and then there's, little places where you can play around and play different notes before you actually start, trying to make the song. So I guess the hardest part would be just coming up with little themes and melodies to get started, because often enough, new composition, when you're not doing a remix or a cover of something, is pretty hard. So I pull up the program, and I'll start fooling around with different samples or whatever that I've made until I find something I like. I'll put that in, and then I'll throw down a couple patterns or whatever and see what comes out. If I like it, I'll keep it and progress the song from there. Otherwise, I'll trash it, and that happens a lot. So yeah.
Now, so you said that. So what would you say is like the hardest part of this genre, and what would you say is like the best part of this genre of music?
Of the genre as a whole?
Yes.
The hardest part. Let's see. Well, I guess some of the hardest part for me is just getting started with the songs, because I'll initially start. A lot of people, I guess, will have something floating around their head. They'll have a melody or something, or they'll have a beat in their head, and then they'll go up and put that into their Game Boy or whatever they're using to write the music with, because you can use a lot of different systems to do it. You can write it on a laptop, you can write it on Game Boy. It's pretty versatile, which is nice. But always just starting out, from scratch, where you have nothing to go off of, is kind of hard because you don't know what's going to come out, and then so you kind of improv and see what you like and what you don't like. So the original compositions are pretty hard. So yeah, that's one of the hardest parts for me.
But what's like the best part of the genre for you? What's like the most enjoyable?
I guess part of the best part of it for me is hearing others work. There's some artists that I really respect as musicians. I mean, a lot of these people have real talent. Format Matthew Simmons has been around for a while, and he's one of the, I guess, pioneers of early chiptunes, aside from the original people who created for games who were paid as, that was their job. He started tracking in 1989, and he recently started releasing just like albums of original work. And so it's really nice to listen to what others have done, because they can really, in a style of music like this where there's so many limitations, obviously you're using, old computers and old video game consoles with not a lot of production techniques, although you can blend modern stuff with the old stuff, which works out too. So it's nice seeing all the different styles and hearing all the different albums that people come up with, and a lot of it is free, which is great as well.
What do you see like your music going? Is there anything like big that you have planned, or where would you like to see yourself going with your music?
Well, let's see. This year I would probably like to do another EP. I need to continue pushing myself, I guess, developing my style further. Mine is, I guess in my mind, it's a lot more like simplistic and kind of lackluster compared with some of the people that I really respect and enjoy, from an artistic and musical standpoint. But so I'd like to, I guess, continue to push myself and see, if I'm still doing this like in 5 years, where I'll be by then. Playing a live show, which I haven't exactly done. I've kind of tinkered around at that at some events a little bit, but I haven't actually been at a legit chip show yet. So that would be fun to do, I guess. And just keep making music and progressing the style and see where it goes, and listening to everybody else's work. It's good fun.
Now, is there anything that we, the fans, can look forward to that's coming soon, like any new tracks or anything?
I would like to get a new EP out by the end of this year. I haven't actually started writing it yet, so we'll see where that goes. But yeah, I'd like to do a short release this year. Maybe I'd start working on it before the summer, and then hopefully get it out before, I don't know, November or something. But like I said, that's all up in the air because I haven't started it yet. But yeah, I definitely would like to keep on composing and seeing where things go, so yeah.
Now, if there's anyone out there who's like just starting up with chip music, what advice would you give them?
Well, I would say be creative, first of all. I mean, there's a lot of, in this age of covers and remixes and stuff, those are all very well and good, but if you can't create original stuff, then obviously there's something missing, because as an artist, I would say, you need to push yourself and, sometimes get out of your comfort zone, which can end really badly, but it can also end really good, depending on what comes out of it. So, try some new things, even if you don't think it might work out, and then you might surprise yourself, and keep trying to push the bar and push the envelope and see where that takes you, and love what you're doing as an artist.
That's a great bit of advice, and sadly that's all the time we got. So thank you very much for coming on the show. You have been a terrific guest.
All right, well, thank you very much for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Feryl. And of course, I've been Caboos15. Catch you next time.